Dude, I have had a day, bro. I just got in from a 3-hour drive.
How was it? How was traffic?
It was good. No, the traffic and stuff was fine, actually. And what was weird is our car's AC is gone down.
Oh, no.
And this is like October 1st, but it was just 80 degrees outside. So, and we're driving from like in the afternoon. So
hopefully the last heat wave.
Yeah, you can hope. But yeah, man, I was up in Rehoboth Beach in Delaware, which is in the northeastern coastline of the United States for our international listeners, you know.
First time?
My first time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I've never been on east part of Delaware. Nice.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a super dog friendly area. But, of course, our hotel didn't allow dogs. So it's just gosh, did you not? Come on, help me out here.
Yeah.
But it was fun, and people were good. The food was good. The weather was good. Well, actually, yesterday the weather was, it was cold and windy.
Okay.
But today was
Classic
beautiful.
Coastal town then. East Coast coastal town. Perfect weather.
How was your weekend?
It's good. My sister was here. My sister and her husband. Did the National Mall, did all that stuff on Friday, man. So it was all day. We did the African American Museum, and we did American history, and then we hit most of the monuments.
The sirens are going off early this episode.
Yeah, and we hit Capitol Hill on Saturday. Did Easter Market. It's fun. Did all the
Eastern Market?
Yeah,
Fun, dude.
Yeah. Took her out. She's into that kind of stuff.
That's cool,
all
dude.
The vendors.
Let me pop this little bottle, and then we can get started. You know.
Prediction was correct. Got this bottle.
Yeah, if you're a first-time listener on 4-0 days, there will be champagne on the pod. Wow, someone's in serious trouble, by the way. But so that was actually the second 4-0 of the new season.
It
so.
Is. Hey.
All right, man.
To the Arsenal.
To the Arsenal.
The good stuff.
It's dry. Let's do it, man. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another District Gooner Pod. I'm KP. Sitting next to me, back in the studio, Mr. Traveler himself. Steven, say hi to the people.
Howdy.
This is episode 11.
11? Who would have thought we would have made it?
Yeah,
wow.
Not me.
Wow.
No, it's the sound issues I was having in the first few episodes.
Hey, we're still learning. Episode 11, we're setting up. Still learning. We're having technical difficulties. Hey, still getting there.
Yeah, we just learned something new today. We're having this little weird, staticky sound that was going around. Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll be okay. We used to have a guy on the squad growing up that he used to wear 11, and we called him Sticks.
Sticks.
Yeah. So
episode Sticks. This one. Shout out to you. This one's for you right here, boy.
Shout out to you, Sticks. All right, man. Well, we have a lot to get into. We took off a little bit last week, right?
Yes.
Obviously, the Arsenal played in the Carabao Cup, and we just also played in the Premier League this weekend. But first, I want to focus our attention on the ladies of the Arsenal, who have started their new season for the English National Women's League. They just had their first leg. Their first game on this morning at 9 a.m. here, and it ended in a 1-0 loss to Liverpool.
Oof.
But I just wanted to mention it because I said that we would try our best to at least keep our listeners updated on what's happening on the women's side as well as we can. So there's that. And also, one of the early episodes, we promised we'd do a little bit of research to see if there was a Europa League for the women's side. And there isn't. So it's just a Champions League, it looks like. And they have just the women's Euros sort of nationally is what it looked like. It's also pretty cool and interesting. If you look at their table, there's only 12 teams in the English National Women's League.
Okay.
So just a little bit different. And of course, it's bigger teams, bigger clubs seem to be the ones who are just a little bit early to get that sort of, like the first. I forget exactly what it's called. It's like the first something advantage. I don't know. But being there first helps is the point of it, right? So anyways, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think the women's league, especially so in England, it seems like it really came on the scene last year for me personally, just kind of hearing about it. I think it'd be good to try to tune in. I know my wife went to a NWSL game here in DC. We have a team here. Attended a game with some friends. Sounded like they had a great time. But yeah, I'd like to actually try to catch some games. That'd be nice this year.
That would be cool. Yeah, it's the Washington Spirits.
That's who it is. Yep.
Yeah. So very cool. All right. Well, let's turn our attention to the men's side. We just played Bournemouth away, 4-0 W. Back to our ways, coming off of the draw in the league, and I want to get your thoughts. Obviously, pre-match vibes. On the lineup, the only thing to call out, it was the same lineup as against Spurs, except Kai Havertz got the nod ahead of Vieira.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I have no clue who's going to play between them two. I really have no idea. If going into it, I would have said Fabio was going to play because I would assume Bournemouth is going to sit in against us, and Fabio would be the one to help unlock. But hey, he went with Havertz. Obviously, from the result, 4-0, I don't think there's any problem with that. But I really have no idea between the two. Do you have a strong feeling between either one at this point?
At this point, I actually, well, the way that the game ended, I feel like Vieira is going to get some time on the wing going forward. Hopefully, a little bit more. Because, on that right side, we need a little bit more on that right side. But for me, I prefer Kai Havertz to play. Okay. I just feel like we're better defensively.
Yes.
And it was very clear in this game, the way that he was with Billing, the big guy on Bournemouth, he was everywhere with him, right? Mm-hmm. And they had a little back and forth, but you wouldn't get that from Vieira. And so in the Premier League, I just feel more solid with him starting.
I'm with you there. My old thought was when we played the weaker teams, bottom of the table, Fabio would play when they pack it in. When Kai is there, there's definitely more stability. He definitely puts in the shift defensively that I don't think Vieira can right now. And Havertz has proven in the air as well. I think that's a huge thing he's added to us. He be winning some balls in the air. Set pieces and stuff. He always seems like he's in the right spot for those, which is great. Hopefully, they can be added on the offensive end here soon enough. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it's nice. Two players competing for a spot. I think it's nice. I like that.
Totally. And the only other thing pre-match, so I was just scrolling Twitter pre-match just to see, formerly Twitter, now X. But I was scrolling it to just see what the vibes are like, and people were not super excited about the fact that Eddie got the nod up top. It seemed like there was a lot of comments asking for Reece to get the start. For me, personally, I feel like, as you and I have talked, especially this season so far, there's been a couple of games where you've mentioned Eddie wasn't having a lot of pleasure out there.
Yes.
And usually he's not having a lot of pleasure out there when they have two big center backs, like big guys. Mm-hmm. So I'm starting to feel like we are giving him this nod, this run of games to start to develop that a little bit more against some of these big guys because he needs it. That's like the one area where he just really seems to struggle.
Okay.
So that's how I saw it as and also I saw it as a way of the manager saying that, hey, Eddie, like, if you want to be the guy, you do have to play like every 3 days.
Uh-huh.
And this is what it's like.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Can you do it or not? So I just see it as a little bit of a challenge there. That's all.
Okay. And I texted you pregame. I saw the lineup come out. I really wanted Reese to start. I don't think he's had a game this year where he's come in. So he's coming in off the bench a lot. He started on Wednesday. He hasn't had a lot of games where I'm like not feeling him or like not seeing what I need to see. I'm seeing what I need to see from him. I would like to see him get rewarded and start getting real minutes. We're short on the left right now. After this game, we might be short on the right. I think he can play either side. And I'd like Jesus to play up top. Like I think he's our striker. He's our 9. He does fine on the wing. He does great out there as well. But I just put him up there. He hasn't played there yet. He hasn't got minutes at the 9 consistently to this point. So that's my thought. I do like what you say. I like giving the confidence to Eddie because I think he needs that. He's shown that maybe the confidence, he hasn't been backed enough in the past. Mm-hmm. But now it's almost like when Reese isn't getting backed now. It's kind of a back and forth for me. It's kind of a toss up. When I saw the lineup, I was a little bit disappointed, but I guess the proof is in the pudding as well.
Yeah, and so I tell you another thing. You bring up Jesus, and I feel like maybe there's a decision or a thought of just he's more prone to get injured when he plays the striker role.
Huh.
We're already pretty thin, and he doesn't back away from those challenges. Like he will sacrifice his body. Big center backs, big center backs, big center backs. Let's have Eddie develop instead of potentially exposing this person to a big injury at this moment that we just cannot afford. On the wing, I just feel a little safer. Okay. Something happens more muscular versus on the other side. So that's just something to think about.
Okay. We support Eddie on this pod, so it's nothing really against him. I just think there's other players that deserve to get some nods. And Bournemouth is a great game for someone else to get a chance because it's Bournemouth. This isn't one of the top sides. Bournemouth is going to be towards the bottom at the end of the season. So if Reese was ever going to get a start a game, to me, when you're down 2 left wings, this would have been a great game for him to get some solid minutes in. But hey, Eddie, to get into the game, Eddie affected, got us some potential goals here. So shout out to him.
He did. Let's jump into the game. Let me just first say that I do not like the broadcasting angle of the Bournemouth Stadium.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
It's tough. It's a tough watch, dude.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's like, can you get the camera a little higher, please?
Yeah.
So
they probably should address that eventually, but maybe when they go down, we won't have to worry about it next year. Sorry.
No, I don't think they'll go down. Maybe they will. But the broadcasting, I was having none of it, dude. It was very difficult. I'll tell you what, 10 minutes into the game, away, felt pretty much Arsenal were in control. Declan Rice was taking corners in the beginning. That was something that just stood out to me. That was interesting.
Yeah.
But then, of course, in the 12th minute, before we get to the goal, there's a huge tackle by William Saliba. And we also had another huge tackle. They were like tackle blocks of Borkman chances. There was another one from Gabriel, too. And I just want to give that a shout out. I thought Saliba had a good game.
Dude, the back line is absolutely like locked in right now. It almost makes me think, why wasn't Gabriel playing at the beginning of this? They are locked in, man. Those 2 center backs together, that's a lethal pair. I love that they get jazzed up for each other. The art of defending, whatever you want to say about it, but they like what they do. I think they take pride in it. Big men in the back. They had a great game.
They really did. So in the 18th minute, Saka gets Arsenal on the board 1-0. It's a Jesus header that is rebounded off the post by Saka, and he heads it in.
Yeah.
Just a cool stat to call out here. This became the 40th game that Arsenal are now unbeaten when they score first.
Ooh.
In the last 40 games, we were unbeaten when we score first. So that includes ties, of course.
Okay.
But I just think that's a cool stat. That's the tape, like, being on repeat. You know, like winning, the culture. It's a pleasing thing to see.
Yeah, and that's when it's an issue when we get scored on in the first 5 quick. Let's give ourselves a chance. If we can get on the board early, and I think that's always a big thing. If we can get on the board early, make teams come out and start to try to play us, they can match up. And if they want to try to play ball with us, typically they can't go with us toe-to-toe. And we hit them with a knockout, which we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, so go up 1-0. It felt really cool. It was nice. It's always good to get that early goal in these games. And the one thing, like 20 minutes in, the thought I had was how cool they cannot deliver a ball. Like, they just could not hit any of their free kicks or their corners. This person, Tavernier, I think, was taking it for them. Oof. They were horrible, dude. So I was just like, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. You know, that's always a point. For us, I'm a stickler on that. The services have to be good. Your service has to be good to give yourself a chance. And a team like Bournemouth, when your chances are going to be limited, and you got these terrible balls coming in, absolutely no shot, I'd be disgusted. If I'm running up as a center back trying to get on the end of a ball, and that's the service coming in, I'd be sick. I'd be absolutely sick. It was not a great game for Bournemouth.
It wasn't, and it wasn't a great game for the referee, I thought. Once again, I wrote down here, the ref was trash, because I have no problem with the yellow card that he gave to Kai Havertz when he had the slide on Billing in the 32nd minute. 2 minutes later.
Retaliation.
Huge retaliation. Yes. Gets it big time from him.
Yeah.
Nothing. And that's just disgusting, dude. That's just like refereeing 101. What are you doing, dude? Did they not teach you fairness and just retaliate, like clear retaliation?
Yeah. It's football 101. As a player, you know, like back in the day playing, it's classic. It's an eye for an eye. That's just what's going to happen.
You saw that foul coming, dude.
Exactly. It's an eye for an eye. You see it happen. Shout out to Havertz for he took it, didn't step up to him or anything, didn't react, which is nice from him. He just kind of took the foul, took his lump, got up, and we played on. But from the ref, it's like, come on, man. You saw that coming. I kind of had the same feeling first half, but what's interesting, he did get both penalties. He didn't have to go to VAR, and they were blatant as hell. Maybe that's why. So we got both pens, but kind of throughout the day there was some continuous fouling. I don't think they ended up with the yellow card. That was the only yellow card of the game, was Havertz.
Wow, I didn't realize that. And I wrote this down here. You're right. I wrote down in the 38th minute that they are just bullying because they can't play football. Like, that was just fact. That was the vibe I got watching the game.
Bad camera, bad Bournemouth.
All right, that just feels like a Bournemouth roast for a little bit. So let me reset myself here. So in the 44th minute, we do get the penalty, to your point. I did feel like Eddie used maybe a little bit of the dark arts to get it. Just one of the replays that they showed, it just looks like Eddie was already kind of going like, all right, I got my touch. I'm going down here.
Yeah, that was slick. He got the touch past him. Aarons was close.
He was close.
The right back was close, but he got the touch past him. As soon as he felt, I'm going down. Clean. Great penalty, too. I feel good when Odegaard steps up. No lie. When he steps up to take a penalty, he's composed. I just feel good about it. And I love a penalty that just rolls in. Like, not a lot of pace on it. It's just, you've been done. You've absolutely been done. I like that.
No, that's really fair, dude. And it was a great pen.
Yeah.
And just talking about Eddie and the dive, it's just not dive. Sorry, it's just like the way he goes down. He went down again in the second half. The one where he was through. He was just through.
Oh, man.
It's like, Eddie, come on, man. I need better there, bro.
I said that. He gets touched in the back, but she's like, come on, man.
Come on, Eddie. No, come on. We're not going to back that on the pod, dude. And then I think that was the first half. Oh, Raya did make a good save right at the end of the first half. There was a bouncy shot right in front of him, picked it up. And one thought I had about Raya, actually, after we played Brentford on Tuesday, or was it Wednesday, when we played them in the Carabao Cup, it just reminded me that Brentford are a long throw team.
Yes.
And then it reminded me, well, that makes sense why he's so good in the air. You know, he just spent like 4 years training with them, and he had that a lot. So it was just nice, and it just something to loop around for.
Yeah, I guess I didn't know that about his game. He is very good on balls in the air. Throughout the entire game, punched a few out, caught a few. I was kind of watching him a few times. He's positionally, he's prepared. And maybe you hit it on the head. Maybe that is exactly why. I did not. I'm unfamiliar with your game, but that's a huge plus for us. Knowing that's how teams are going to try to beat us when they can't go through us at all. We're slamming them. I think it's nice to have. I think he had a good game, good distributing as well to kind of touch on him. He had a tougher game against Tottenham. I know the long balls we struggled a little bit, but he was pinging it again on Saturday.
He was, and then the second half, it was 2 goals by the Arsenal, but the first one was one that a lot of people have been waiting for.
Yes.
Arsenal get a penalty again. To your point, this time it was Odegaard, and I was a little worried. It was a bad foul a little bit, I thought, but he comes down on that person's head. If you watched the replay, I felt bad for him.
Yeah, that dude took a knee to the head, huh? Yeah. When that ball came into Odegaard, I'm watching it, and he took the touch. I was like, first time I thought he was gonna shoot it. I was like, what? Shoot! And he took the touch, but it's a blatant penalty. Guy gets kneed in the head, and he comes up and is saying stuff to the ref. What are you arguing for, man? Your tackle wasn't even close. But yeah, I did not see Kai stepping up. Did you see Odegaard talking to Jesus before the pen?
So my friend was texting me during the first half, actually. He was saying that if we get another pen, give it to Kai.
Oh,
we need him to score. And I texted him back saying, it could go so wrong. I was just so nervous that it could go so wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
But no, man, he stepped up. It was a good penalty, and then the fans.
Huge.
A new song. How cool.
Yeah, huge. The celebration, man. It almost, I kind of feel bad for him, man, the way he scored the goal. It's almost like he didn't know what to do. You know, he just kind of jogged around in the center spot. Everybody comes around. Gabriel smacking him on the head. But yeah, the fans gave it to him. They were loving it. This was a big moment for him. He's obviously kind of been in the mud for a little bit. We know the confidence is low coming from a dire Chelsea side right now. Getting on the score sheet, even though it was a penalty, I think it's great for him. Still a pressure moment. If he missed that, oh man, could you imagine the socials if he missed that pen? And that's probably going through his head. Like he's thinking these things. Well, the socials, and it was only like the 55th minute. Yeah. So that remains 2-0. The most dangerous lead, they say. Yeah. I wrote something. I was on ESPN today. There was a little clip from Steve Nichols from ESPN FC. And he said, Kai taking the penalty was very unprofessional from Arsenal. And he said if he misses there and Bournemouth comes back from a 2-0 lead at home, Bournemouth is at home. If they did come back, basically Arteta would be having hell to pay for that. And that he's making this point. And the other guy at the desk agreed with him. The host was like, well, he didn't miss. So it doesn't matter. But that was his take from, obviously, I think from both of our perspectives. I didn't even think of that at all. That's not even a thought in my head. at the time. But he said that, and I thought that was maybe as an outsider, is that even like a common thought to have? I wasn't even sure, or if he's just trying to bash Arsenal because that's what people love to do.
Yeah, especially on ESPN FC. Like,
yeah,
dude, don't waste your life's time listening to that stuff, man. That's bad for you, bro.
No, it was just I was checking my I got a fantasy football team this year, so I was just checking scores, and that clip came up because I've Arsenal favorited, so I watched it. I just thought it was an interesting thing. Like, I didn't even think about that. Why you keep my name out your mouth?
Yeah, so actually, I'm just going to get into this. You have man of the match here, and for me, the fans were the man of the match, to be honest with you.
Ooh,
I feel like...
Good shout.
I feel like 3 seasons ago, they gave us Super Mick Arteta. They gave us... they gave us that one, and the Smith Rowe and Saka, the Here We Go. And then last season, we got Tequila.
Yeah,
right?
The Saliba song.
And now we got Waka and Havertz. So it's really cool. It's really nice that the fans are backing the team in this way, but also they're creative. They're coming up with good songs. They're fun. The fans were having a blast. Some of the videos I've seen of just people dancing and whatnot, that's cool. That's an away and the experience that maybe one day we will have. So, overall, though, they sang for him for 5 minutes straight. So, very cool. And then in the 65th minute, we see a double change. Reece comes on. Tommy comes on. Wants to watch. If you know, you know.
Yes.
And Zinchenko goes off. Eddie goes off. What do you think about the subs?
Deserved, I think. So, Reece for Eddie from the beginning of our talk. Perfect timing. And then Zinchenko for Tommy. I think that's perfect. We don't need to risk Zinchenko at all. He makes us go at this point. I was very happy with the way he played. I think he really makes us go right now. Getting him in the midfield, he's so secure on the ball. I'm really happy with him. So let's keep him healthy as long as we can, because we know he's prone to break down. So early subs, love it.
It was nice, but I had a problem with the manager for not also using a third sub in that moment to just sub Saka. I do not understand what is going on here.
I don't know.
With this, you got to play every game for 90 minutes. And, look, I'm sure he'll be fine. I don't expect him to play in Europe this week, but I'm sure he'll be fine for the big game at the weekend. But it's the 65th minute. It's 3-0. We're already so thin out there. You're doing great preserving some of these players. Why not him? My question is, why not him?
Yeah, this is such a good conversation that needs to be had at Colney. Someone needs to get in Arteta's ear. I don't really know that either, because consistently when we're up early, I think that's going to be the move. Saka's off. Save him. He's our guy. Save him. 3-0 in the 55th minute. Okay, Saka's coming off soon. Already had a big knock last weekend. Already the talk of, he might not play. Of course he plays, because that's what he does. He plays. Get him off. We got Reece. We have Smith Rowe. We have Fabio. We got 3 guys that can play there. Get him off the field. And then, 76th minute, he does come off, but he's done at that point, which is not great. And don't think we're going to see him on Tuesday. I hope we don't see him on Tuesday. Personally, I really don't. I hope we see him on the weekend. He needs to take a week.
I agree with you 100%. And the only other thing about the game to call out is Betty Blanco made it 4-0. You see the uni hanging right there. And the thing about this pod is the jerseys we're hanging. It's Gabrielle and Benny Blanco. It's a footballing pod, dude. I'm not gonna just put the striker up there for you, okay? We're respecting our defenders here. They deserve it. And what a cool header.
Yeah. No, I'm happy he scores. He's really like an engine for us. Right back, he does it all. He can drop in the center back. He's overlapping Saka. He seems like a kind of guy that will never complain He's just working. He's just the horse. He's our engine right now. So man of the match, I was going to choose someone from the back line. I was thinking Gabriel. I was thinking Zinchenko. Hell, you could pick White too. The back line was superb yesterday. Absolutely top notch. And if we're going to get where we want to get, it's them. I think we need to ride with them because our front guys are so talented. They'll get us where we need to go. But we fell apart based on the back line last year. These dudes are solid. Got Tommy coming in. He can play. Huge for us.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. So this is now 11 games unbeaten in all competitions for the Arsenal, and it's a good feeling. The vibes are good. Trossard was sorry. Anything else you want to talk about the game?
There you go. Trossard was on the bench, which is great. I saw that on the lineup. Not surprised that he didn't play, but the fact that he's there is good because if it was like last year and it was a 2-2 game, we'd see him on the field. I can guarantee that he would have thrown him on. But knowing that he's there, he's healthy, I think that highlights maybe next weekend. We'll probably see him. I still don't really have a good idea of when Martinelli's coming back.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a while, personally. If he's not, we haven't seen him on the bench. We haven't seen indication. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe November time frame. That wouldn't surprise me.
I agree. So that's the game. That's the Premier League. Let's turn our attention just really quickly to talk about the Carabao Cup action that we were in. Did you watch that game against Brentford? Anything you want to call out about it?
No, I think the only big things, we saw Ramsdale. He had a decent game. He had a couple big saves. That really big save where he pushed it wide. No, I really don't have anything. It was cool to see have some of these guys get minutes against a very strong Brentford team. They put out their team to win it, and it was an away game, and to see some of those guys come in and they're able to show out for us. It was a tough game. It was tough. They had us on the ropes for a while, but
in the second half,
good result.
It was a good result, and 1-0. It was a good 1-0. The only thing for me was it was nice to see. I told you it would be cool to see a youth player, a young Gooner that we just don't even know or think about. I had no idea who this person was, Sago Jr., who got his debut. Very cool. I always enjoyed that. It was very clear, though, like in the second half, clearly wasn't ready. But hey, amazing experience. Nice to see. It was also cool to see Smith Rowe play in Odegaard's position. He was wearing number 10. He was playing number 10. Something, but I feel like a lot of people, when they're talking about Smith Rowe, we're always kind of just thinking he'll play in the 8 role, like a Vieira or a Havertz, or on the wing, on the left wing. So this was like the first time to see him get 90 minutes in that Odegaard position, and that was encouraging. But the only thing is, it was also his 100th appearance for the club, which was cool. But it just reminded me, Smith Rowe should have scored against Bournemouth.
Yeah. He had the one against Brentford too. He could have put that one away, and then this one, Bournemouth. He probably should have put that away too. I'm sure he's kicking himself. I think I want to say he really wants it. He wants to play. He wants to be a part of the group. There's tight competition to get minutes, man. It's tight. We started the pot off. Reece Nelson has had great games when he comes in as a sub. Surprised he's not getting minutes, but obviously, it's tough to get ahead of Eddie at this point. Manager trusts Eddie. That's who he's going to choose. So he's got to. You have to show out in order to earn your minutes at this point. So missing those chances hurts, and I'm sure he's kicking himself. Hopefully, he comes back stronger. Can finish some of those moments. I do love watching him play, man. Like when you see him do some of the things that he does when he turns, drives through. No, we don't really have anybody else that can do that. It's like saying Declan Rice that's kind of a change for us. He's able to receive balls, turn, and actually drive it forward. I like seeing that. But Smith Rowe, getting a ball in a tight spot near the 18, turning and bursting through the line, laying it off, getting it back. It's very aesthetically pleasing to watch him. So I hope the best for him. I hope he can keep his head up, finish a few balls, earn some minutes.
Yeah, he gives me a Wilshire and a Rosiski vibe with the 1-2. He's like a 1-2 kid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's really cool. He's like a little futsal guy almost. Like, just give me the wall and I'll get it off the wall and I'm gone, dude. He just needs walls. He's looking for the wall and he's presenting himself as a wall, and it was great. Yeah, and he's one of those players that when he does find the back of the net, I feel good. You can just right now he's going through a period, to your point, of just he really wants it.
Yeah.
And that always just makes it a little tougher.
Yeah, I think that's true. Hope the best for him. He's known for his finishing too, so he's got it in his locker. We know he has it, so hopefully it comes through for us.
Yeah, and the only thing you just reminded me was what a performance from Declan Rice again. By the way, I wrote down in my notes how cool that we just don't have to worry about our center mids. Like, it's been so long where you just don't have to worry about our center mids. There were a couple, to your point, where he just drove through Bournemouth, and so good. He had a couple of good tackles. I think he flipped the wing over on one of them. Yeah. It's just a powerhouse, dude. Yeah. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see him against some bigger squads to get a full 90. The one sort of big game, he didn't get the full 90. Well, against United he showed up, but these days I don't feel there. Yeah.
So it's, why are you protecting Rice? Take Sock out, man. I think Rice can play the full 90, but he did pick up the calf injury. But yeah, to me it's just like I said this about Saka. It's like he plays so well that his 7 out of 10 game could be someone else's like 9 out of 10. You're like, wow. He really showed out. To me, Rice is just consistently putting in these 7s, but they're just cash money performances, man. Like we'd be hurting without him right now. Could you imagine if we didn't have him and it was just Partey still? He's hurt and we have Jorginho in there. Woof. We'd be in a world of hurt. He is a player, and I'm happy we have him. Maybe it's the best form of flattery in this position. We don't have to talk about him. Mm-hmm. We're not having to talk about him. Because there's the amount of shots that they're getting on our goal, the amount of chances. No, he's sniffing everything out. So I think maybe that's the best compliment we can pay him.
100%. So in the Carabao Cup, the only thing to call out, we are playing West Ham in the next round. That's not going to be for some time. So, but it'll be cool. Let's go into the next segment. Let's take things off the pitch. But before that, maybe a little refill. Hey, one more.
Cheers.
Cool. Well, let's go off the pitch. A few storylines. The main one, the first one that you have here, doesn't really have to do with the club, but it is the main storyline of the Premier League this weekend. Want to set it up?
Let's do it. So, I watched the end of this game. So we're talking Liverpool, Tottenham. What a gutting loss, first of all. Woof. Matip putting that in the back of the net, the own goal. I was actually at the bar with my brother-in-law. He's a big college football guy. Tottenham Liverpool game was in the background. I was kind of catching glances, and I turned around and they put that thing in the back of the net. And there was actually a good Tottenham fan base in there, and they were going wild. I was like, oh my goodness. Disgusting. And I threw up. No, I'm playing.
That's sad, man.
But the two things about that game. So the offside goal, that's unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
And on the I guess maybe the anniversary when we played Bournemouth, remember? And we put that. Was it last year? It was Bournemouth, wasn't it? And we had that goal. They were offside. I believe it was Bournemouth last year.
They were offside.
Yeah, and they were offside, but they didn't draw the lines, and they kept it a goal, and then of course they get the apology afterwards. Yes. Well, this one they didn't draw the lines, and it sounds like a load of excuses. The VAR guy saying, "Oh, I thought you called it a goal on the field, so I didn't intervene." Like, get the hell out of here! I think that's a load of whoop. That doesn't make any sense, but that's disgusting. That's unbelievable.
that's like saying, oh, I wasn't paying attention what was happening in the game, so I missed it. Like that's the literal translation of what you just said.
Yeah, that's disgusting. When you show it, like I've seen, you see the picture, it's like just from your eye, it's like he looks off.
You didn't need the lines.
He looks on. Like you got whoever was standing there on the left center back position, his legs sticking back, he's stretching his leg. It's like he's onside. He's onside. You let the play go, he scores it, and you still don't get it right? Disgusting. It's like, what are you getting paid for? What are you there for? Why are you not intervening? You're telling me you thought it was a goal on the field, so how do you not, as they're going to start play again, be like, no, you need to stop. That doesn't matter. A couple more, they play the ball out, and then the referee gets something in his ear like, no, we got that wrong, you need to check it. I don't think anybody would have a problem with you stopping the game all of a sudden. Who cares if the game's restarted? No, I think you need to get the correct call in. It's a huge game, right? Top 6 game. You've already sent somebody off. It's a big moment, man. It's a big moment. 1-1 game. Obviously changed the outcome.
Dude, this just reminds me of when we got the penalty against Romero when he hit his hand at the Tottenham game. And they reviewed that handball for 3 minutes. It took 3 minutes to make that decision. And for this offside, everyone was just like, you know what? It's cool. It's offside.
Yeah. That's a...
There's got to be some kind of like shot clock. There has to be something, I feel, for the VR to make their decision, because it is getting out of hand in terms of like how long they take to make some of these decisions. Mm-hmm. I get it. Some of them are a little tighter. But there's just... The fact that none of this is standardized, and the fact that we just watched the World Cup, and the technology, or like in the Champions League, the technology is there.
Yeah.
Can we adopt the technology? It's there.
Yeah. Something that I also think would be very beneficial. So, NBA, when they review something, what happens? The ref has to say what they saw, and it's like a verbal confirmation to the crowd watching. Like, here's why we called this, either while we're reversing a call, while we're calling it this, here's why it's a technical, here's why they say it. NFL, when you watch a replay, right?
Yes.
The official turns on his mic in the middle of the field and says what happens, what call they're making. I don't watch rugby, but I do know that they do that as well. They like record the refs. Why aren't we hearing anything? I need to know what's going on, because you could say it's like borderline cheating. Like, what is going on? How are these decisions being missed? Doesn't make any sense. Why aren't you drawing lines? Why aren't you proving it to me as the viewer? If there's statements of possible cheating, conspiracy stuff, it's easy as that.
Well, it's the same thing that we were having for a while, where it's like, why are you deciding that for this one the referee should go to the monitor, but for this one he shouldn't? It's like the same, the lack of standardization. Again, it's just like,
I need to know. I need to hear why.
Like, what is your operating process here?
And maybe if I can hear you talking, I can understand, oh, that's why they made that decision. Like, okay, cool. I think it'll help me out a ton. It'll help everybody out a ton. Being scared to put it on audio, I think that's ridiculous. You can't be scared of that.
They win that game, by the way.
I think they do too.
Because what a goal, too. The goal that was called offside, dude, he put that thing right in the corner.
Yeah.
See you, man.
I think they win that game too. But let's drop even further into the game at the beginning. Red card, Curtis Jones. Now we have a Liverpool friend who sees it a little differently, but I'm kind of along. I'm gonna let you take this one because I think you have some strong opinions.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think first of all, friend is a strong word. But
don't say that. Come on now.
Yeah, we love him. He's an absolute mate. But I tell you what, man, I thought it was a red card because that was a leg breaker. Like, I get that there was no intent.
Yeah.
But in the speed, like when you're refereeing younger kids, you do tell one of the big things is that you have to like be under control, right? You have to know what you're doing, and when it's a little tight, no one puts their foot over the ball when it's that tight. That type of 50-50, I feel like you always go with your foot flat, right? You don't put your foot over the ball.
Yeah.
So the fact that he just did that, and of course it rolled over, I mean, I'm glad that to be fair to Basum, I'm glad he's okay. That review was scary, dude. That stuff hurts, man. Uh-huh. So for me, it was a red.
Yeah, I am with you. That's a red card. Curtis Jones, very unlucky. That's very unlucky. I totally understand. You're not trying to do that. You're not trying to break anybody's leg, but he broke his leg. You know, that's the potential. That's what they're trying to get at. That's what the rule is. I get that he goes over. Oh, he touches the ball first. I don't know if that matters. This is a red card I always had a problem with. Shaka Cancelo. This is when we played Man City. This is a few years ago. Xhaka slid in, basically two-footed, won the ball. I don't even know if he touched Cancelo, but it's just the possibility. If he did, right, very dangerous. You two-footed, completely won the ball. I don't think he touched Cancelo. He jumped up, and of course, Cancelo made an absolute meal of it. And the ref gave him a red card immediately. Didn't need VAR intervention. It's that kind of thing where I understand you're trying to win the ball. The intent's not there to hurt him. You're just trying to win the ball. But when your studs end up in the middle of his calf, I'm sorry, but that's a red card.
Well, I don't know this for a fact. I'm not a lawyer, but I believe in the legal world they say that intent is not a defense.
Uh-huh.
So, there's that, right? like the people or the justice system always says intent is not. I don't know. It's not a defense. It's not an excuse. So I am sorry. That's a red card.
I'm with you. 50-50. Very unfortunate for Curtis Jones. Very unfortunate. But your studs shouldn't have gone over the ball. Your studs shouldn't have been showing into the ball. Who goes into a ball with their studs up? That's weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You slipped off of it, but red card. Moving on. sorry, the offside was called.
Yeah, sorry. And I mean, yeah, tough game for them. Tough officiating, but I hope you feel a little bit better, feeling that the boys in the District of Columbia in Washington D.C. support you of just what you're also seeing, right? It's mental out there, bro. Let's talk about this little storyline that's been developing. As you hear, it's a busy night here in the district, man. I tell you. Okay, I tell you what. Yeah, so there was a big transfer story that started to come out a few days ago, and it's all about getting a striker in the January window. It seems like that's where the fan base's attention has gone. That's where the media has taken us as well. I'm seeing storylines about Ivan Toney. I'm seeing storylines about Ollie Watkins. I saw that the Napoli social team had a nightmare, so Seaman was now being linked with Arsenal. What do you think about all this talk? Do you want to see a January transfer for a striker?
It's a very interesting one. I think the question is, where do we upgrade next? I think that's the question. And I think striker is probably that position. I don't know another position we upgrade. You could say potentially left 8, but we got Havertz, and you have to give him time. I think our system, he has to get at least a year before we can even possibly think about anything about making a real judgment on him. But striker, I think that's got to be it. Our defense is solid. Midfield is solid. Odegaard and Rice, they're not moving. Got Saka, he's not moving. Got Martinelli, he's not moving. It's striker. Jesus hasn't shown that he can play a full season for us. And then Eddie, the verdict is always up on Eddie. We like him, but can we upgrade? Ruthless. This team's ruthless, man. I think that's why the from the fans, it's like, what's next? What's next? Something's always got to be next. I think that's why striker's coming up.
Okay, I hear you, but for me, given the option, I'd like to see a center midfielder come in, just because Thomas Partey cannot play a full season. Let's just say that, right? That's the verdict.
That's true.
And
absolutely true.
And this person is just so unreliable. Okay, it's hard. And Jorginho, man, he really needs. I don't know. He needs like speed boosters or something, right? But that's just not going to happen. So and he's running his race in for certain things, right?
Yeah.
So that's the one area where I like, given the choice, I'd like to see a solid, just reliable center mid come in. But I also get the conversations. Ollie Watkins had himself a pretty good weekend. 2
hat tricks so far this season.
He's an Arsenal man too, I believe.
Yeah, I believe he is. I think his family are Arsenal fans. Tony, we know Tony. I always like Tony. He's a player that I'd like to have because Havertz might be someone of that where people just don't like him. Like, this dude's an absolute dick. Like, he's just a dick. Like, Tony, he's that kind of guy, a kind of person, like, you don't want to play against him, but you like him on your team.
Yeah.
He's going to do the dirty stuff for you and talk mess and kind of just be an absolute nuisance. And then, obviously, with Raya, you know he can ping balls to him, and he can hold people off no problem because he's a big man. Osimhen, I'm not even going to put anything into that because he's going to come with a way too big of a price tag.
I would like to see Osimhen.
Cool.
Amongst the choices, that's my thing. Is like, at the end of the day, I also just like, I want to see someone come in from abroad, personally. Okay. But it is what it is.
How likely do you think it is that we sign somebody like this in January? By this, I mean like a top quality player. Do you think it's likely in January? In any position, not even striker. Just, do you think we signed a top quality player?
If we sell Thomas Partey.
In January. Okay.
Yeah. If we have to have sales in January still, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And it just depends on, what becomes available. Last January, we got Trossard. That's like good business. There's opportunity to have good business, right? Yeah. And for me, a striker, yes, but also an attacker in general, maybe. Just someone who's... It does have to be someone who really has to elevate the team, right? So it can't be I don't want a potential signing for it.
Yeah, I think moving forward, being ruthless, it has to be big time signings. Unless you're going to get a youth guy to potentially fill a spot like a Partey. If you sell Partey and you pick a younger person to end up filling his spot, have Jorginho to teach him, that'd be nice. But at this point, whoever they're going to buy has to have the potential to work into the squad. So,
and it's hard to know because I do feel like there's a player, there's a player in Charlie Patino that we just haven't even really been exposed to. And we did keep him. We sent him for a loan. I think he wanted to leave. So just something to keep in mind. All right, this is starting to get to be pretty long here, so I hope you're still having a good time enjoying this program. We are, but that's just because the champagne's flowing a little bit, so my words are still fine. It's all trying to open my mouth more. Hey, how did you rate the month of September? Today is October 1.
Yeah, October 1, 4 games in the Prem. So of the 12 points, we got 10. I think that's solid. I'm happy with that. Got our Champions League win, Carabao win. In the entire month, we had 6 games, 5 wins, 1 draw. If you tell me at the beginning of the month that's what we're going to come out with, I take it. I absolutely take it. So solid month. Of course, the North London Derby, that's the toughest one to take, but it was a draw. Tottenham, I think, earned the point on the day. I'll say that. I do think that they earned the point on the day. Maybe we gave it to them a little bit. We could have prevented it, but hey, I'll take that outcome.
I agree with you 100%. And with the Tottenham game, actually, I was thinking about it the other day that pod, it just felt so bitter.
It was.
But it was a draw at the end of the day, and we're still undefeated. So sometimes we can be just a little hard.
Yeah, I don't like when we draw games, but it feels like we give them away. And that's the feeling I got. It wasn't a draw that we earned or a draw that they earned. I felt like a draw that we gave away. Kind of like Fulham. In the same way.
Fulham was a total gift.
Yeah, but that's how I felt, and that's how I still kind of feel about that Tottenham game. I think we're a better team. I think we just made mistakes and cost ourselves.
I hear you. Plus, our away form is better.
It is better. Which doesn't make any sense.
In the new year.
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
Let's turn our attention now to October. It looks like we have 3 games in the Premier League, 2 Champions League games. So, all in all, 5 games together.
Yes.
There is an international break in between somewhere in October as well.
So after the City game, so October 8th, then there's a break. I don't think the next game is till the 21st.
Yep.
Yeah, Chelsea away. So there's a decent break in there.
Yeah, what are our expectations, what we want to see? I think for me, on the Champions League side, I'd like to see 2 wins in both those games, right? Get the 9 points already, sit at the top. And I think so. I think we've been saying Lens, but it's Lens. But we're just going to say Lens. So I think Lens Sevilla drew their game.
I honestly didn't even pay attention. I'm not paying attention because we're going to win the group. So I don't care what Lens did. We're going to win the group. So
yeah. So, but it's supposed to be a tough game on Tuesday. But anyways, expectation, I want to see 2 wins there. In the Premier League, 3 games that we have, they're against Manchester City, Chelsea, and Sheffield United. Chelsea and Sheffield, I mean, those should be wins.
Yes.
Just on form, on paper. And the big one is a City game. And for me, it's a must win. That's how I see it. I just think obviously we beat them in the Community Shield, a little different. But in the Premier League, it's their crown, right?
Yes.
And you have to beat the person sitting in the throne with that crown on to pick up the crown and put it on your head. I don't even want the Premier League without beating them, to be honest, because I think back to the sort of era of like them versus Liverpool, and Liverpool would beat them. And I also want to beat them. I don't want it to be where we win the Premier League, but we lost to Manchester City both times, or we even drew against them both times. Like, can we beat them, please? That's my expectation. That's the one game I want to win.
Talk that mess. I am completely with that. My thing is, Big 6 teams at home, you win. You have to win. To play with people like them, to have expectations to win the league, which I think we do this. That's our goal, right? That is our goal. You have to compete and you have to win against the Big 6, specifically them, right? You have to beat them at home. You just do. You have to compete and you have to win. It's their crown. You have to take it from them. Like you have to prove it. You have to prove it to yourself too. I think even mentally, if you beat them, if this team can beat them on the weekend, mentally, can you imagine what that does for you, right? We can do this. Like, we can do this. It changes the table. Currently, we're a point behind them. Like, not a big deal, right? Long season. But when you beat them and you go in front of them, that's huge mentally. Huge. So, we go out there. I'm with you. It's early in the season, but it's a must-win game. Not only for pulling one out on them, 3-point difference, but mentally, that puts us in such a great place to go out and do what we need to do.
Absolutely. And at the same time, look back to last season. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how the Southampton game went. I don't care how the Liverpool game turned. I don't think, say all you want. They beat us twice.
Yes. And
they became champions. That's what it came down to. At the end of the day, say all you want. Whoa, this game dropped. Oh, bad run of games. Whatever, dude. They beat us twice. They deserve to be champions, okay?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And to your point, I think it would put a dirty taste in your mouth if you win and you didn't get to beat them. It's like, they could be like, we're still the better team. You didn't beat us. You didn't beat us at anything.
I don't want that, bro.
We ran you guys. We ran you guys twice. Nah. So, I'm with you. Put a bad taste in your mouth. You gotta put out, you gotta win. That's what it's all about. Losing 6 points off of them, that's just not. It's not a good look. losing 6 points to them when it could come tight. We've seen these Liverpool City challenges be so tight. Last season, it ended up being pretty tight. That's 6 points. The mental edge it could give you. Big game, though. Big game.
Big game. Let's talk about it. Let's also give maybe a little program update leading up to that game. You're traveling, right?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah. I'm actually going to be out the country. I'm going to miss the game. We do have a fill-in. We do have a host coming in. One of our buddies is actually a big City fan. So it'll be a little change.
Again,
a little change for the
can
pod.
I just say, buddy is a strong word. But we are looking forward to having this individual join us.
I take that back. I'm not even going to call him buddy because I don't like when people call me buddy. He's a friend. I take that back. Sorry. He's a friend. I think he'll be pretty objective, which is good. I think, of course, there's always biases, but I think he can do a good job of being objective. He's not an Arsenal hater. I think he appreciates the type of ball that Arsenal plays, which is good. So I think it'll be a good podcast. I'll be back after the City game. So when we play on the 21st, I will be back in the district, so we can keep him back in the country. But I am missing the City game, man. This is a bad luck.
It's one of those. But I tell you what, if we do beat them, then you have to miss all of them going forward.
Oh no!
just something
going
to
to
think about. These City games are so expensive for me. I have to leave the country every time, man.
Canada would be the closest bet, so head up to Toronto.
No, that's fair. So we probably won't. I think what we'll do is we'll probably do a post game for that one. And hey, I don't know. Just make sure you subscribe, and you'll see what comes out. We'll have lots of surprises, and throughout the seasons and the podcast in general, it's nice to just get some other voices involved.
Yeah.
Right? You can only hear my voice for sure, only so many times, right? So I know you're going out of the country, but do you have a prediction for the City game?
City game. I do have a prediction. Of course I do. I think there will be goals. I think they get a goal on us. Because of course they do. But as we said, I'm doing this with my heart. We got to win. We got to win this game. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. I think it's going to be close, knockdown, drag out, like it's been the last few seasons. We've competed with them. We have competed with them the last probably 2-3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Been in the fight, especially at home. Been in the fight, just haven't gotten over the hump. So, Rice, this is what we got you for.
Yeah.
Huge game for everybody out there. It's his first one. I'm expecting big things from him though. 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, it's a home game. You know how I feel about home games. For this one, just out of respect, 4-1.
4-1. Etch that. Because he's hot. Man is hot right now. So I think we might be onto something.
Here we go, man. That's exciting. Hey, are you excited to leave the country?
Oh, absolutely. I think we're going to have a great time. Had this trip planned for a long time. Just me and the wife going. It'll be a blast. Getting a little beach in, getting a little mountain in, doing some cool activities. But it'll be a blast.
Yeah, that's cool. Can I ask you, like, where you're going geographically? Like, is it like Africa?
Africa, ooh. Nah, Vietnam.
Okay.
Going to Vietnam. So, long flight. But super excited.
One flight? Just like nonstop?
No, it's not nonstop. It's actually our layover's in Qatar.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe I'll go see if I can see one of the stadiums. And then I'm playing. But it's in Qatar. Like 2 weeks. Big things. Should be fun.
That's amazing. I'm excited. I'm excited for you to have that experience, and you'll have great stories to tell. So that will be fun. As for me, I think with that, I just want to thank everyone for listening and spending time with us. If you like the podcast, please rate and leave a review. Also, share it on social media. It's the best way for others to find out about us. This is episode 11, and for this one in particular, I think maybe we'll have a different outro song.
Ooh, interesting. The last one was popping. I was nodding my head to it. It sounds good. Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Well, enjoy.
Have a good one.